All right, guys, you're tuned into another episode of the Talking Shed podcast. And how's this? Back-to-back weeks.
Back-to-back week. It's weird.
Wow.
I mean, it's just us, but
Yeah.
hey,
I think your mic's a tick aggressive.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I'll turn it down.
You can just mute it, really.
Yeah. Thanks.
So, are you nervous?
No.
Your Chiefs play Sunday.
They're not my Chiefs.
Oh.
I got married into that deal. It's not my fault.
Well, you better root for them. You're going to get kicked out of that house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
My mother-in-law might throw a fork at me.
I'm banking on the Eagles. Saquon, he's going to...
Yeah, I tell you what. They've got the best offensive line, one of the best running backs in the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awfully hard to beat somebody with that caliber, but
Yep. No,
you can't count out Patrick Mahomes and
never.
And Travis Kelce.
Never.
I mean,
Wildly athletic.
Yep.
Just extremely talented, and his true gift is just being able to get out of a bind, and he actually thrives in that environment.
Yes.
Like it.
More of a tight situation that he's in, the better he plays. It seems that.
But and I'm sure they practice that way and stuff. And this isn't a football podcast, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to watch the Super Bowl, and I think it's fun to watch talented teams who are clicking.
Yeah.
And I like to watch football mainly to watch the thought and the schematic as to, you've got two brain powers, the best defensive coordinator money can buy.
Yeah.
The best offensive coordinator that the team can afford, not money can buy. Not everyone has the best one, but
right.
Whoever you thought was the best one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, he's hiding his blitz.
Mm-hmm.
He's hiding that he's going to throw a deep ball or whatever it is, and how do they then react to that?
Yeah,
like,
how they scheme all that.
Mm-hmm. I just like to run that through my mind and develop it. Like, I think it's pretty cool how you see it all the time. They'll have a big play, and they'll run that player off the field immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say Henderson for the Buckeyes has a big run.
Yep.
They'll take him out
because
now they can't defend against him now, and so they just want him to kind of forget about it. And then he comes back in, and is he going to get it? Well, no, he's just a decoy,
right?
Or he's just a blocker, a run blocker, and so I like seeing that. And Andy Reid's the top of the top, and just seeing some of the creative design plays, and like what was that game? Oh, well, it was the Chiefs and who played last?
The Bills.
The Bills. That very last play where the Chiefs hid that blitz. They brought that guy off. I mean, just genius defensive play.
Absolutely.
That no one, they hit it.
Yeah, they'll never talk about that play.
Right. It's like you're holding your cards in your back pocket.
Right.
And I like to see those schemes.
And that's the thing. That's what always gets talked about and overlooked. Like, everybody talks about how that tight end didn't catch that ball.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody,
Which he should have.
Right. Nobody talked about how the defensive coordinator drew up that blitz to get them to put Josh Allen in that situation.
Right.
And that's just a great way to describe kind of how life goes.
Exactly. I relate it to life in business in general and everything. And it's like, okay, don't lay all your cards out on the table.
Right.
Or, you could go back to the song, learn when to hold them and learn when to fold them. I mean, it does it's like that in everything that you do.
Right.
And football relates to that. And that's why I like to watch football.
Right.
It's like, how are these guys going to use their mind? Sure, they're using a pigskin to score the points, but at the end of the day, it's a series of who can outsmart cat and mouse.
Yep.
Sure, you need some wildly amazing catches and runs to get there, but
and obviously you need talent and stuff like that. That's why it's the National Football League, because they have the best of the best football players in there that are trying to play the game. Obviously, there's definitely that comes into perspective, but even narrowing it down to playing high school football or even college football, all of that stuff comes into series whenever it comes to that. And like you said, life in general, I mean, there are definitely things that you plan out throughout your day that you try to map out and say, all right, well, if I don't do this, I need to do this. Or if we need to go here, we need to do this while we're doing this.
Yeah. Are you on offense or are you on defense?
Right, exactly.
Yep, I agree. I enjoy that part of it. So it'll be fun. I'm sure we're all going to watch the game, and hopefully it's...
well, not according to the news.
Well,
it sounds like only the states of Missouri and Kansas.
Well, I was just getting ready to say, hopefully it's non-political. Just mute the even though some of the commercials are really good.
Yeah.
But they try to swing hard in either direction.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're not going to get into any of that. Today it is, I think, February 6th. And so we're leaning right up against the National Farm Machinery Show. In fact, we just are kind of putting the final buttons and screws and bolts on all of our show displays.
Yep, I just got done cutting some tubes.
Yep, we were wheeling one of the displays up into the trailer, and boom, one of our caster wheels broke off.
Yeah, I put too much muscle into it.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Does that happen a lot?
I was the ox behind the box deal.
Does that happen quite a bit?
Yeah, it does.
I bet. Well, hopefully, they had a little guest come in here, but
he's moving in.
Yeah, he's moving in. But hopefully, casters on, I don't know. I think we finally found some good ones.
Yeah, I would say so.
But good caster wheels are hard to come by. You either have a flat tire, or they break, or the bearings are bad. But dang, them things are expensive too.
That's like the wheel that broke on that one. It had a plastic insert instead of it actually being cast, and yeah.
So, anyway, we're creeping right up on Louisville and teeing it up to be a good show. Mom and Dad are leaving with the trailer tomorrow.
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Yep. And so they're going to...
And then Grandpa's going to tow down the old enclosed trailer behind them.
Yep. So bringing 2 enclosed trailers, pulling down a gooseneck tender trailer to sit in the booth that we made up, I think is pretty sweet. I think you guys will really like what you see in that thing. And just hoping for a good crowd.
We'll have the Dawn units, the True Trails, the Triple Threats,
all the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
Yes, sir.
All the ROI stuff.
Yep. And it'll be fun. We'll be able to run into Worley, be able to run into Shoemaker, be able to run into both Gunkelmans, big and little.
Yep.
All of our reps and stuff will be down there. Drew, I'm sure, will be there.
Lee Kilpatrick will be there.
Lee will be there. Yep. All the Salford gang.
Yep.
So, yeah, you can't wait for that show. You and I are going down Wednesday morning.
Yep.
I kind of feel I don't really like just coming in that day of the show. I enjoy packing up or building the set, you could say, laying down the battleground field and laying out the displays. I enjoyed doing that, but it just didn't work out. Got too much going on at home, and so I'm going to show up the day of the show.
Yep. Well, between you having 5 kids and me having 3 kids, it's like...
But
there's only so much we can do as far as being away from home. It's a lot to ask out of our wives.
We will break records when it comes to cleanup time.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to get out of there in record time.
Well, this year is going to be the year of record breaking.
Yeah.
We got out of Fort Wayne in record time.
Yep.
The minimal amount of trips that we made to Farm Science this last year.
Yep.
We're
learning to streamline finally the show process, because down there all the forklifts are ran by union workers. Like you got to go wait in line for a forklift, and there's 5 of them in the 10,000 square foot building.
Yeah,
and you got to wait for that forklift driver, and it's just a mess. So our goal this year was to go down there and not have to rent a fork. Yeah, you got to rent it. On top of that, it's not free.
Yeah,
so
I don't even know how much it is.
I mean, I think it's a couple $100.
Yeah,
every time.
It's X amount per hour or something like that.
With a minimum of 1 hour.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, if you only need to unload one thing, you're going to pay $400 to unload, and then you got to pay another $400 to reload it too.
Yeah, it's wild, but it's just how it works. So our goal was to not use forklift, and I think we're going to succeed.
I believe so. Yep, we've got everything jigsawed into the show trailer for the most part.
Yeah,
I don't think the truck's going to like it going down.
Yeah,
but it will just have to survive.
Mm-hmm. Last year we brought the semi trailer. We brought the gooseneck trailer.
We brought a tractor. We brought a spreader. We brought a crimper. Mm-hmm. We brought all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So
I mean, granted, there was some that I think we brought a cedar down that went in Salford's booth.
Yep.
But it's like, whew,
yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah, and it really drags out the cleanup process. So
and you know, usually Grandpa has already made a couple of trips down there already.
Yeah,
and we'll be able to make it all down there in one trip and make it all back in one trip.
Yep.
So
it's going to be nice.
Yes, it will be very nice as far as weight off of our shoulders, getting all that stuff home.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't really weight on our shoulders to get it home, but as far as the company, the weight will be lifted for sure.
It'll be a cakewalk, I think. So we'll wake up. The show's over Saturday afternoon. We leave, we go out to eat, and then we'll come back Sunday morning and clean up. So I'll have the boys with me, and we'll get her all cleaned up and in a timely fashion.
Luke and Lane.
Yep. They'll be down. Maybe Jackson too. I don't know.
Think so, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you got to bring the Tasmanian devil out every now and then to tame him down a little bit, you know?
Just make sure you put a note in his pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. I brought the boys to the Ohio State Fair, I think it was, and I put a note in Jackson's pocket. He's my wild 3-year-old, and he's got just a knack for getting lost. Like, you turn around, the kid just vanishes. So for the state fair, I put a note in his pocket, and it said, "If found, call this number." And it was my phone number. Hey, I mean, it's good. You know.
Oh yeah,
that was a good idea. I thought
absolutely. So especially if he did get lost,
right?
You know,
I mean, it's like, well,
it would have made it 10 times easier to find him.
Yeah,
you know,
someone or he could just be like, "Hey, I got this note in my pocket," and someone would call me and. I'm
just trying to picture him trying to tell someone, here. Yeah. Read this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
funny.
So yeah, we'll see. They'll probably go down as well, and we'll be good to go. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
But we had a nice stint of some nice weather. A lot of guys were hauling grain, and then last night we had that freezing rain. Mm-hmm. We'll get into last night in a little bit. But overall, the weather hasn't been too bad.
Yeah.
Got like I said, a bunch of ice on the roads now. Mm-hmm. But it was clear there for a couple weeks when we were able to do some trucking. Yeah. But right now, we're going to be parked for a little bit. There's salt all over the roads right now. Mm-hmm. So we're trucking.
Through this stint of this weekend, it'll be a little rough.
Trucking is at a standstill at the moment. Mm-hmm. So, but overall, sales have been pretty good.
Yeah.
The last couple weeks. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've had a lot of interest in a wide variety of things. You know, I've always said it, or I've said it for the last 6 months or so that, you know, in these times, you know, when corn is sub $5, that's a time where you'll get the guys who don't end up trading for a new planter.
Right.
You know, they have a planter that they want to make upgrades to, and that's when we thrive.
Yep.
They want to upgrade their current planter with a lower budget system.
Right.
And that's what I've spent a lot of time on the YouTube videos talking about.
Right.
You know, with the Kinseys and some of them planters we've ran through here.
Absolutely.
Is, you know, taking a planter that is older and you could say wore out, and throwing $10,000, $15,000 at it, and having a planter that has got gauge wheel arms as tight as a brand new one.
Absolutely.
Brand new seed disc openers and the chassis ready to roll.
Yeah, I mean, you basically extend that planter's life by 5 or 6 years, if not more than that.
Right.
Just by doing some of those smaller, cheap, effective upgrades to make those planters run like a top.
Yeah. So, we've had a lot of row cleaner sales because of that.
Yep.
Guys that, I was going to trade my planter, but I'm not going to. So why don't we just put row cleaners and closing wheels on it, and I'll run it for another 5 years or whatever. So had a lot of that. We've had, some strip toolbar stuff here recently. Had some Y-drop toolbar stuff here recently. Some Salford tillage a little bit.
Yeah, I had a guy from Illinois come pick up that 80-footer today. So that I sold back in, I think, November or December, somewhere in that time frame.
Yep. Yep. So all kinds of good stuff, quoting a lot of stuff. So
yeah.
Overall,
absolutely.
December was pretty quiet. But here after the first year, it's been off. Of course, grain, as I'm not going to say it's rallied, but it's
it definitely improved.
It's a great improvement. We're knocking on $5 on the board, and if your local elevator has a decent basis whatsoever, you can sell corn today for $4.90 pretty easy.
Right.
So. Better than the $3.70 or $3.80 we were looking at harvest.
Yeah.
So, I actually sold some wheat today.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wheat was up 16, and I sold some for $5.51.
There you go.
Right or wrong, I don't know, but I thought, you know what?
It's got to make sense though too.
Yeah, I thought, you know what? I've sold wheat at $7.50, and I've sold wheat at $4.30. $5.50 ain't bad.
Yeah.
So I locked in a little bit of wheat. I'm a quarter of the way sold, and we're going to see where wheat's kind of been climbing here the last few weeks. I'm going to see where it goes. If it hits, $6 or more, I'll probably let go a little bit more, and I'll roll into harvest probably half or 3/4 sold. I don't store any of the wheat, so we'll see. Maybe put it on DP, get 30 days free DP after harvest, and kind of see where it falls. I did that last year, and it just tumbled, and that's when I had to sell it for $4.30.
Yeah,
it is what it is. That's what you get. But for me, when it's up and decent, I try not to get greedy. I'll just and everyone has their own marketing plans, and I'm not suggesting anything, but it's just you got to sell when if you're okay at $5.50 and you're not okay at $4.30 or $4.50, I think it makes sense just to lock in a little bit.
Well, I mean, let's be realistic.
What's this?
You're a deer farmer, not a crop farmer.
That is right. Yeah, we are converting my farm into more of a deer hunting farm than a row crop. We're obviously still going to row crop, but we're going to row crop with more of mind of hunting.
Yes.
I spend more time on my farm deer hunting than I do raising corn or beans. And so as my kids are getting older, we, as you guys know, just love the outdoors. And so Cody and I and my boys, we deer hunt the snot out of my ground. And when you're growing beans, the deer love cover. And so if you can have some corn, standing corn or even cut corn in the winter from like late November until Ohio's deer season just went out February 4th this past Sunday. If you can have that corn food source, oh man, it's a magnet.
Yeah, it's game over.
You will have the deer. So when I first bought that farm, I was like, I don't think I'll ever raise any corn. It just, logistically for me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a lot of bushels to haul. It's a lot of upfront inputs. And I thought, I want to get really good at just raising beans and wheat, do some double crop beans and get really good at just raising those two crops rather than, every other year raising one of them and kind of forgetting the good things that I did. But we're going to plant some corn this year.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Mainly, to be honest, for the sole purpose of attracting deer.
Deer hunting.
Yep.
And we got the best Bex hybrid coming that deer love to eat.
That's right. Candy corn. Yeah, we're hoping it's sugar coated and it's got molasses coming out the ears.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So Yeah, so that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. But yeah, stuff's been moving. That's for sure. You know, there's still some big equipment that I think we'll have to get creative.
Yeah.
You know, obviously,
yeah, definitely.
Obviously, trades are more of a game. You know, a mover right now. You're going to have a trade, and you're going to have to just accept that you're going to have a trade. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Straight out deals are pretty rare, and so that's fine. You know, trades are good for everyone. Gets the farmer to move on, and then we've got an opportunity to sell that tool to the next guy. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, things are going well. We've been selling a lot of liquid storage too.
Yes.
Yeah. Been moving some horizontals for trailers.
Yep.
The tender trailer game is just, you know, I think that's been hot. It's going to stay hot.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not the tender trailer game that's hot. It's just the fact of efficiency.
Right.
You know, guys want to just, and we talk about it all the time. If we have a product that offers efficiency to a grower, that's where it's at.
Yep.
Efficiency and ROI.
Mm-hmm.
If you cannot build either one of those into your product, you're going to struggle to move it.
For sure.
You know, no one wants to own just dead weight heavy iron.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gotta push them in a direction that's beneficial for their farm. So those are the kinds of things that we focus on, and we have to continue to focus on to keep things rolling.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure,
I made my way up to Michigan a couple of days ago. Well, was it yesterday?
Yesterday,
yeah. I went up to Michigan, delivered a piece to a large strawberry farmer, and on my way up there, a Salford Halo VRT was coming down with a seeder.
Really?
Yeah, but the seeder wasn't installed on it.
Interesting.
So I meant to ask Dave what the deal there was, because, you know, they install those seeders at the factory. So I don't know if like a dealer.
Well, I bet you that's the one heading to Louisville.
It's kind of what I thought.
Because I know Dave said that they weren't going to mount it. They said that they were going to have it off.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guarantee you that's where it was heading. It was heading to Louisville.
That crossed my mind, but I guess I didn't know that it wasn't going to be mounted.
Yeah, I know he said that they had the one mounted on there last year, but I guess it was one of those deals where they wanted guys to be up more close and personal to it.
I got you.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I guess just more of an opportunity for guys to just get on top of it type deal. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes if you put something like that on a tool, you'll some guys might think that's the only way you can order it too.
And it gets overlooked that way too. You know, well, you know, you've got a piece of equipment that sits here that does all this tillage, and oh, there's a box sitting up there. Well, what's that box for? Cover crop? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe having it on its own standalone display or something like that gives it more of an opportunity to maybe sell it for other colors too. Oh
yeah, and I know that's the goal.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I guarantee you, we'll end up putting one on a 2860. Is that what?
2660.
Yeah, 2660 or a 2680.
Yeah,
for sure.
I actually had a guy talk to me Monday morning. He has got a 6056 pulling behind his 43-foot 2660 on a rolling basket, but he's not getting good germination because he's just relying on the rolling basket in the back to do it. So I told him we could probably get that 56 on there, on that 43-footer. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's hard saying. I mean, there's definitely avenues that we definitely like to explore that help us. You know, the sprayer in the shop is a prime example.
Yeah.
Of what those guys in the shop do for us as far as our ability to sell some of this stuff. It definitely amplifies the way that we can do it. And you know, that basically what I'm getting at is the fab guys definitely help us sell what we can sell, for sure.
No question.
And, you know, Elliot did a great job extent. So there's a 9613 fast sprayer in there that Elliot extended the booms on. So we added 5 feet on each side. So it came in, we ordered it as a 90, and we basically added 5 feet to each boom, and Elliot made it look like it was factory. Mm-hmm. And, I asked Fast if we would be able to swap out booms or whatever, and they go, yeah, we'd have to swap out the mainframe and all this, and this, and it's probably going to end up costing you about $15,000. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So,
we made it work.
I went to Brent and I went to Elliot. I said, hey, might have sold this. Can you help me out? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, no, it looks good. That it's going to work, and mm-hmm. It's going to be a pretty sweet deal.
It's that custom stuff that we talk about all the time that mm-hmm. helps us set apart. I mean,
just getting that customization to a grower or an operation that can help them be more efficient is just...
Yep, because everyone wants something different. Not everyone wants a 90 or a mm-hmm. 60 or a 45. Yeah. So.
Oh, well, I want a 72.
Yeah. Yep, there's all types of different things that we can do to help create mm-hmm. a niche to help position us in a way that we're advantageous to the farmer and
absolutely
and attractive to the buyer. So mm-hmm. that's what we got to continue to do. But yeah, a lot going on. Louisville coming up.
I can't wait to see the guys that I always see there.
Oh, I know. It's so much fun.
Yeah. That's like the greatest lead up to Louisville is like, gosh, I know who I'm going to see this week. Like, mm-hmm. I want to see him. I'm going to see him. I'm going to see him. Like, mm-hmm. just the guys that you see there every year, and that is the only time you get to see them. Like, I know we've talked about that on other podcasts before, but like that is always the best feeling for me whenever it comes to a farm show like that. Like, just being able to see those guys that you only see once a year, and that's the time that you see them. Mm-hmm. Or if you get to be good enough friends with them, you just go hunt turkeys on their farm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, if anyone out there has a turkey problem, turkey season's right around the corner.
I'm not saying that we'll solve that problem.
Oh, no.
But no, we will definitely attempt to.
We aren't going to solve anyone's turkey problems. No, I don't want to oversell it here, but we will.
How we tripped into that one last year was beyond me.
Yeah, we will definitely make a go at it.
For sure.
So
for sure.
Turkey hunting's fun. Last year that was that trip that we made to Kentucky, and just got to meet him and see his farm and then hunt his farm, and honestly we're very green in the turkey hunting space.
Oh, absolutely.
And to be able to connect and make that come together on the last morning was it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of stuff, and all of that stemmed from some videos, and then you met him at Louisville.
Met him at Louisville. Well, before I met him at Louisville, I sold him some triple threats.
Yeah.
And then, we got to talking, and then I sold him a fertilizer kit for his planer at Louisville last year, and he wanted me to come down and go turkey hunting the year before, but I think planting season was just getting underway whenever we were wanting to go down there. He bought some knives off of us, and he was wanting me to bring those knives down, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to ship them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we don't have time to come down. And he's like, that's what I figured. And this spring it was so wet, we had the opportunity to go down, and he was like, yeah, come on down. He goes, I'd love for you guys to come down. So we went down there and seen his facility. They used to grow tobacco, and gave us a good background and how his dad started, how his dad and his grandfather before that had the farm, and how they progressed it. And it's a completely family run operation. And how well they were able to work, how well they are able to work together.
Right.
Is you don't get to see that very often.
Yeah. And that's some of the coolest stuff that I enjoy. Is I wish I could deliver more of the equipment. I enjoy getting the equipment in here that we think is attractive to the buyer. The buyer calls, we get them to believe in the product, trust that the product is worthy and has integrity built into it. Of course, we decide on a price, and it all comes full circle when you get to deliver that product and then show them how it works. And then a year later, they tell you about how well it worked.
Right.
And, man, I remember you said that it could do this, and I was kind of leery. I thought you were crazy. and man, I tried it. Wow, man, you should see my wheat or my corn, and
the success stories that you get out. You sell something to a guy and he gets the opportunity to use it, and he won't tell you until he sees you.
Yeah,
he's got to see you in order to tell you. He won't tell you over the phone.
Yeah,
but I did that with a Devastator this year. Sold a guy a Devastator before fall, ran it, and he saw me at Fort Wayne Farm Show. And he came up to me and he goes, "You don't know who I am, but I know who you are." And I go, "Okay." And he told me his name, and I go, "Oh, yeah. How's that Devastator?" And he goes, "Well," I said, "I'm glad I get to see you here because I wanted to tell you it's one of the best things I ever bought." So
yeah,
he said it did exactly what you told me it would do.
Yeah.
And he goes, I thoroughly enjoy that product. Yeah. How it worked. You told me exactly how to put it on. It was great. And those are the success stories that are always the good feeling ones that make you sit back and you're like, gosh, I am doing it right. Like I'm striving to make this guy's operation better, and I convinced him to do this. He wasn't 100% sure in it, but whenever it did what I told him, and now that trust that he has in me with another product or another solution that he might have for me to fix for him, or a problem for me to fix for him that I might have a solution for. Yeah. I can give him at least a direction on which way to go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, pretty soon, once you get a product like that on a guy's farm, you start to become the guy that he leans on for support.
Yep. For
this, that, whether you're talking with him on electronics or, he'll call you and be like, I got a project and I kind of thought about you. I thought this might be up your alley. And he calls and you're like, yeah, we can do that. And pretty soon we become a great resource for him because of what we do every day. Allows us to more efficiently do it for him.
And then you just build that relationship even more with it. And that's what this business is. It's just all relationships and how you want to work with people and who you want to work with. And if you're able to hone in on that, that's the greatest thing. I enjoy building those relationships with guys.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you can do that and effectively do it and efficiently do it, that there's nothing better to me in the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's fun to, like I said, to go to all the places, meet all the guys, and Louisville is going to be just a constant parade of great farmers that we've sold to in the past, and we're just going to sit there and talk about how their operation's doing, what pain points they have, and how we can help, and it's going to be a great week.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Worley will like that Yetter plug that you put in there.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, you hear that, Jeff?
He probably don't even listen to it.
This episode is brought to you by Yetter Farm Equipment.
We're manufactured here in Colchester, Illinois.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We need to do another podcast with him soon. Maybe we can pin him down at Louisville.
I don't know. We'll have to keep him out of the bar.
Yeah, we'll get him pinned down.
Yeah,
and we'll do a podcast with him.
Him and his boy. I think his sniffer's going bad.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Really?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know. He might tell me different, but
yeah,
if he listens to this, he'll tell me different.
He'll call you tomorrow. What were you talking about? Yeah, Worley is the king. He's the OG.
Yes, sir.
In the world. I mean,
you think about how long you and I have known him.
I mean, and it's been a fraction of his career.
Right.
I mean, when it comes to everything we just talked about, building the relationship and turning the customer and making them a believer.
Right.
Worley has done that thousands times more than you and I.
Right.
And you know, a lot of people don't even know him. You know, they talk to him on the phone.
Right.
And they get to meet him at Louisville from time to time. But I bet you a lot of customers will walk right by him, you know,
and have no idea.
Yeah. So, yep, we owe a lot to that guy and what he's done for us. That's for sure. We don't get to run into him enough anymore. But we've done a couple podcasts with him probably.
We have, yeah. I think we did one whenever they still had the Indianapolis show. The last year they had the Indianapolis show. We did one with him there.
In the hotel.
Yep. And then
I think I did one with him down at Louisville there a couple years ago.
Yeah, you and I did. Yep.
So
that he did a phone call one too.
Yeah.
We got him in on a phone call too. So.
Yep.
So.
Well, we've got most of the business talk out of the way. We might as well talk a little bit about how unsuccessful we were last night at coyote hunting. And it
East wind.
And it goes back to, you know, I was talking about the football schemes and defense and offense, and that's a part of why
there was no scheme that was involved with last night.
I mean, we had a scheme, it just was unsuccessful. There was no offensive you know.
But it wasn't like how Andy Reid sits back in his chair and watches film for 3 hours and goes, okay, this is how we're going to do this.
Well, in Tory Cook on the podcast said it best last night. You know, when you can just hunt whenever you can hunt,
right?
You got to hunt,
right?
Like, I can't just look at the weather and be like, this is a good day, I'm going this day,
right?
Well, we might have flag football, or we might have soccer, or so. Last night I was at home. The kids had soccer last night, but it was at 5:15. And I was sitting there like, they're going to get home from soccer at 6:30. The other kids have religion at 6:30, so they're going to be tied up until 7:30. This might be a good night for us to go and try kill some coyotes. And so I texted Cody at probably 6, and I said, hey, you think coyotes are running tonight? And he's like, I was thinking the same thing. And so we connected, we left, we drove to Bell Fountain, and I knew it was an east wind. And I'm torn on east winds, like what they were talking in the Fox Pro podcast. But east winds, if you ever notice, east winds are rare. Obviously, our predominant wind is west, southwest, west, or some sort of a west. We'll get some north and whatever, but east is a rare wind.
Yes.
And they say, wind out of the east, the fish bite the least, and all this. But a lot of weird weather comes with east winds.
Yes.
And you look at last night, what do we have? We had freezing rain.
Yep.
Wind was out of the east. I mean, it was raining when it was 29 degrees.
Right.
And it would hit the ground and freeze. It was lightning.
Right. Yeah.
We were hunting in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Right.
Lightning storm, which is on the top of the list of one of the non-smart things I've ever done.
It was heat lightning.
It was not heat lightning. I was hoping it was originally, and then the thunder came, and I was counting. I'd see the flash. I was like, okay, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I'm like, okay, it's 10 miles away. We're good. Because there we are out in the middle of a hayfield with metal rods that we're leaning on. And but hey, if that's how we got to go, at least we're coyote hunting.
This is true.
Anyway, east wind, I'm going to blame it on that east wind. And we had the same thing the last time we went down to Lancaster and hunted at Justin's. It was an east wind. We didn't call up a single dog.
Yep.
And last night, stand after stand after stand, using the best sounds that we have right now is what I would call the coyote rut. They're in breeding season. It's a great time to call coyotes. They're extremely aggressive right now on territories. They're paired up, and it was a total flop.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I got was little frostbite on my fingers.
Oh, yeah.
But that right there was
the only thing I got was a bag of Cheez-Its and a Diet Pepsi.
Yeah. It was a failed scheme. I knew it was an east wind the whole time, but you tell yourself, yeah, tonight's going to be different.
Right.
Tonight's going to be different. It's the middle of the Coyote rut. It don't matter. Well,
right.
At the end of the day,
it's the same thing whenever we say, "Oh, and it's the rut. It's the rut." Big buck's got to move. They're after it. Mm-hmm. They're chasing some tail for sure.
Yeah. So last night was a flop in the Coyote Woods, but it's never. I mean, we walked probably 3 miles, so we got our steps in at least.
We did get that benefit.
Yeah, and so yeah, they got the best of us. We may have called one in. We saw one from a few hundred yards off, but pretty sure we ended up getting winded on that deal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we talk a lot about coyote hunting, but honestly, all of our hunting, it goes back to the scheme. I love it because it's a cat and mouse game with some of the smartest animals that are out there in nature, and you're simply trying to outsmart the kings of nature.
The predator hunting the predator. Mm-hmm. That is, and I don't even know what the word is. The nostalgia of doing that is what it's just like. There's no other feeling like it. Just being able to go out there, you know that he's top of the food chain, and you're on top of that chain trying to knock him down.
Yeah, and from a zoomed out view, a lot of people look at these animals as, you see deer dead on the road. Mm-hmm. And, you see, well, it's kind of rare to see a coyote, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But
unless you're in the hills of Kentucky.
Right. But even when you do see them, you don't know the amount of things that go through their mind and how well they can think and how intelligent they really are.
Yes.
When you call in a coyote or get in that close proximity with them numerous times, you learn the depth of their brain.
Yep.
And it is incredible.
Yep.
They will fool you every time.
Absolutely.
If you shoot a coyote and you have a successful coyote hunt, you only won because your gun got to them before their senses were able to get to you. Mm-hmm. That is it.
Yep.
That coyote was seconds away from knowing you were there. Mm-hmm. If you were successful.
Yep.
You didn't fool his senses. You are not going to fool his nose. They can see you at night.
Right.
So you caught them off guard for a couple seconds is what happened. And it's amazing to get into that level with them. You call them in, you see one out in the distance and he's coming in. Well, dang well, if he's coming in, you don't even have to look at which way the wind's going. Mm-hmm. You just know the wind's blowing in his direction.
Yeah.
Because he's not coming into that call from upwind.
Especially in the dark.
Yeah. So
a little different during the day, although we haven't done a lot of daytime stands. The only daytime stand, well, we've only actually ever killed 2 coyotes during daylight.
Yeah.
We did once after we were deer hunting, and then once when we got one from Kentucky. Mm-hmm. So we shot one during the day with shotgun.
Yep. And so yeah, we talk about the hunting a lot, but it's honestly just the cat and mouse game of what tools do you have that you can use to outsmart. I mean, it's amazing. You look at the temperatures we had in the last month, and how these animals are able to. That sure, it may have put a little bit of stress on them, but that wasn't even tough on them. I mean, they've got that fur. They can handle that cold and they can thrive in it. Mm-hmm. And it's unbelievable.
They just wrap that tail up around them and keep them warm.
Yeah, I mean, you get cold walking out to your car and you start it early so that it warms up, but they're out there thriving in it. They're digging in that frozen dirt. They're hunting rabbits and mice and squirrels, and It's just amazing. The integrity that they have. They're always on guard and using their nose, using their eyes and their ears, and to be able to fool them for just a few seconds, it is it's a lot of fun because you learn so much from it. You learn the mistakes. Like, obviously you only learn from mistakes. If you're always successful,
you'll never learn damn
you aren't
thing.
going to be very bright. If you're always successful, you won't be very bright at all. You only get wise from making a lot of mistakes. Yep. So you will make a lot of mistakes coyote hunting, and so you learn, okay, why did that coyote run away, or why didn't we get him? Well, look, he could see us, or hey, he came in downwind, or I wasn't expecting them to come from that way. So yeah, it's
never in a million years would have I thought that they would have showed up right there.
Yeah, the other night, Sunday night, we went out hunting here locally, and there's not a lot of coyotes here locally, but
no.
we had an east wind again, and sure enough, we had a pretty much dead night. We ended up getting lucky because we set up pretty close to a pair. Obviously, we didn't know they were there, but we set up, and we had the wind blowing out of this woods, and we thought the coyotes would come out of this woods into this open field and we'd be able to shoot them, which first off probably isn't very wise, because a coyote is not going to just blatantly run out into the middle of a field when the wind from that field is blowing away. So yeah, we were out for a second, but it's not wise for a coyote to come out to an open field with the wind blowing the other direction.
Right.
It's just, you got to give them the wind. If they don't have some type of wind to play with, they don't even want to come in.
Right.
And so anyway, we set up that way. Probably wasn't wise, but it's just how we could set up for that area.
Right.
Sometimes some stands, you can't even worry about the wind. You can, but sometimes you just got to be quicker on the trigger. But anyway, we fire up the call, and I'd bet 10 times out of 10 these coyotes are coming out of this big woods right here. I mean, they got to. We scan the field. There's nothing in the field. We hit cagey cottontail, which is a prey distress call. Coyotes just come screaming in at it because they're hungry. They think there's a dying rabbit, and here they come. We're sitting there for 30 seconds. Cody thinks he needs to pan to the far left just to check, because our far left, mind you, is downwind. So let's see. Where do we think a coyote's probably going to come in from? Downwind. Sure enough, Cody pans to his left 30 seconds into the call. Adam, right here, there's a pair. Well, I mean, by right here, it was still a couple 100 yards. But I pan over to my left, and sure enough, there's two coyotes out there. And I'm like, where did they even come from? Like, they just appeared out of nowhere. We just scanned that. Granted, there was a tiny woods over there that they had to be in. But we pan to the left, and instantly they already have us pegged.
Yep.
They have our wind. They can smell us or the call instantly. So the left coyote has got us pegged. His head's up, and I can just tell. So I tell Cody, they've got us pegged. It's not over, but they're not coming in anymore. They're going to stand there, and in about 10 seconds, they're going to leave. So I said, all right, I'll take the right coyote. You take the left. We can get into it deep if you want, or we can just say they ran away. But I shot at mine, and Cody did not shoot at his. They took off running. My thermal screen went blank after I shot, so I was done. Cody finally takes a shot at one running away, and then his gun jams. It was the most comical, rookie-looking hillbilly thing.
Your clip fell out of your gun.
My I went to reload a chamber, reload a round, and my magazine was laying on the ground. Like, I don't even know how that happened.
Oh, gosh.
We're like, okay, we were so dumbfounded. Cody's safety was on for his. We count to 3. We go, all right, I'll take the right coyote, you take the left, and we shoot on 3. That way we're both shooting at the same time. It optimizes our chance to kill more coyotes. You take the left, I take the right. 1, 2, and we don't say 3. We pull the trigger on 3. 1, 2, I shoot. And I'm like, I didn't even realize at first, but Cody didn't shoot. And he finally takes a shot at him running away. And Cody's like, yeah, my safety was on. I'm like, oh. Anyway, we were so dumbfounded. We're like, okay, God. Number 1, where did those dogs come from?
Yeah.
And number 2, what kind of circus just happened? Like we've been hunting here all night, and we couldn't have killed one if it sat on the call. So they will humble you every time. You think you got it, and man, they will just figure you out. But
baffling.
It's so fun to learn that though. Mm-hmm. Like you like, what were we thinking? Why wouldn't they show up there? Mm-hmm. That's the only place a coyote's going to show up. He ain't going to show up with the wind at his ears.
Right.
They're fun. But anyway, it's enough coyote hunting. Mm-hmm. It's not enough coyote hunting. I'm not going to say that. We need to keep coyote hunting. That's enough.
Oh, our wives would agree with that statement.
Right. That's enough talking about it. But so that's it for this podcast. We're going to shoot a couple more at the farm show, hopefully. Get some more podcasts.
Well, there aren't going to be any coyotes there.
No, we're going to shoot some podcasts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But there are some coyotes in Kentucky, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll find them. Mm-hmm. So, well, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is the latest edition of the Talking Shed podcast. Be sure to check out Cody on TikTok. Yep. His TikToks have been taken off like TikTok. And our YouTube videos as well.
Yes.
So thanks for connecting with us, and we appreciate everyone who listens.
Yep. Thanks, guys.